direction. That's what the A's want, especially since they're being rumored to open up a new stadium in Oakland. This is the type of things that you want for Oakland, especially getting the chance to being one of those teams that are going to be one of those, you know what, we said we were going to talk and we said we're going to try to do it, we're going to do it, you know, and they shut me up with the Chris Davis thing. I really thought that he was going to be a trade chip, you know, especially how the beginning of the season went. And when they signed Chris Davis to an extension and they got Oli back after a little time after that, it was really impressive to see that, and you just felt good as an A's fan. You know, and I think that's what, honestly, Marcus Semien deserves. He has a potential shot of being a free agent after the 2020 season. So that would be another year and a half of control of Semien if you weren't to decide to extend him and keep him and not trade him. It's another year and a half. But you have a chance to extend him. And Chapman has already opened up that he would want an extension as well. He would love to be in Oakland. He would love to play here. He loves it here. He's comfortable. And that's something that the Oakland A's have been known for, reputationally wise. A great team for players to play. And as an A's fan, it's good to hear, you know, they love the fan, they love the atmosphere, they love the clubhouse, they love the manager. It's really a good destination to be if you're in Oakland, if you're a baseball player. And back to the trade. This trade was probably the biggest trade highlight of the A's history, in my opinion. Recently, you know, I mean, you can debate on other trades, but I'm gonna probably give you guys a little bit more. And there's one that probably can touch on to that, but definitely. This one has to be at least top 3 or top 5. So, another trade. Kazmir for Daniel Mengden and Jacob Nottingham. Now, Scott Kazmir had the best season of his career once he got traded. When he got traded. The time when he got traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers, everyone felt that this guy was the guy to trade for a big package, you know. And at the time, you saw Daniel Mengden and Jacob Nottingham. They're a bunch of nobodies. Well, turn that into Daniel Mengden is a pretty good pitcher that has a chance to be a very great pitcher in the MLB. And I think he's going to have another chance after the suspension of Frankie Montas. Hopefully it turns around and he can fill in that role. I'm not expecting him to be an ace, but I'm expecting him to at least really, really take advantage of this big opportunity. And then Jacob Nottingham later on turned into Chris Davis. Now, remember, Chris Davis came from Milwaukee. He finished that season off before getting traded to the Athletics with a 27 home run at that end of the season. He 27 home run with Milwaukee. Hitter Park, a lot of people were skeptical. Okay, he doesn't have the swing. He doesn't have a good reputation with his arm. How can you play left field with that arm? There was a lot of concern with Chris Davis coming in at that time, but a lot of people were hyped up just because they have a guy that can hit more than 20, you know, and has that potential. And they only gave up Jacob Nottingham, and they only gave up Bubba Derby. Nottingham only has played since then. Since that trade, has only played 15 games in the professionals, in the MLB. Bubba Derby has not yet reached the MLB. So you potentially got Chris Davis for a bunch of 2 guys that are not going to be anything in the MLB, you know? And if anything, they're going to be average players. Chris Davis has been amazing, and just switching this into Kazmir for Daniel Mengden and Chris Davis, huge win. And has to be seen as another great pickup for Oakland. And this shows you how smart the front office is. And another one that's been very reached out and really hyped up, Ryan Madson and Sean Doolittle traded to Washington for Jesus Luzardo, Sheldon Neuse, and Blake Trinan. Now, a lot of people would downgrade this due to the regression of Blake Trinan this season. And I don't like to be unfair. Blake Trinan last year was unstoppable. Sub-1 ERA, sub-2 FIP, was just one of those guys that were unhittable, you know, and he still has the stuff. And I really think if you were to ask me what's wrong with Blake Trinan right now, I would understand. I would basically go over that he is injured. I mean, that little injury that he had earlier in the season, and then they didn't put him in the injury list, or they didn't decide to give him surgery. He hasn't been the same since. The beginning of the season, he was still that unhittable Blake Trinan and had that control. And it seems like it's really bothering him. And hopefully he gets it situated. He's still under control. They can still consider him being one of those elite pitchers, I think. So far, he hasn't been pitching since that injury like it. But you just have to give props to Blake Trinan, you know, and for just pitching through an injury like that. Jesus Luzardo is our number one prospect and set out to be one of the great pitchers in the MLB. Sheldon Neuse raking AAA pitching. And let's go over the Washington part. Washington still has Sean Doolittle as the lone super reliever in Washington at the moment. Ryan Madson isn't with the MLB team right now. He's closer to retirement than to signing with another MLB team. Pitched well for the rest of that season, but then started going down. Got traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Pitched couple of important games in the playoffs, but it was not with Washington. So I think it was a fair thing to say, hey, the A's won that trade. For at that moment, two great relievers that were in Oakland, Ryan Madson and Sean Doolittle, and they turned that into this, you know. And it's been very great for the Oakland Athletics, that trade. You have to give credit to the front office again. But let's go over the bad trades. Some of the bad trades. The Jurickson Profar trade. Now, I was one of those people. Now, if you look at the page in my Instagram, Athletics Dynasty, you would immediately see the time where I talked about how I felt about the Jurickson Profar trade. I wasn't having it. You know, I knew that he was not going to be as great. I knew he didn't play second base. He's played a lot better. I got to give him credit for that, but he's still not what we need at that position, you know. Batting in the bottom of the lineup now. Switch hitter. I guess you can give him credit for that. But he's not better than Jorge Mateo. He's not better than Franklin Barreto. So I don't know why the A's went for that. And another thing, they gave up a ton. Eli White, a lot of people could say, you know what, he was not the game-changing prospect, you know. I mean, he had one good year, and I'll give you guys that. But Eli White was a trade chip that you could have used to guy pitching. A reliever, starter, whatever. You trade away Emilio Pagan, who's having a great season, who could have fit in this bullpen. And you give up a first-round pick. So you give up all that for a guy who is not having a better WAR percentage than Ian Kinsler, then who else? Rougned Odor. So that this is one of those guys where you just like, okay, what is this guy doing right? You know, he can't throw to first confidently. So I think I would consider that to be one of the worst trades, simply because a lot went wrong. A lot went wrong. You gave up a ton for a guy that was not even going to be that great, you know. In his breakout season, 20 home runs, 256 batting average, it's not even great. It's not even great. And I would have loved the DJ LeMahieu thing, the signing of DJ LeMahieu. I was rooting for that. And now he has the potentially chance to be an all-star again. And I know it's a fan base, but LeMahieu would have been great, you know. And I think it's one of those things where you just have to give props to Tampa, taking advantage of getting a first-round pick at Emilio Pagan, and give props to Texas, getting Eli White and getting whatever they got from Tampa. You know, both those teams won, and Texas technically won getting rid of Profar. Because that turned into Logan Forsythe coming in. That turned into another them getting better. I mean, they've been a lot better since Profar's left. You know, and that's the thing. So that's literally what we all have today. I know it was cut short today. Next week we're gonna talk a lot more, specifically about Tanner Anderson, and the starting rotation. Hopefully something fixes after this week. The A's have Tampa and St. Louis and the Los Angeles Angels next. 3 game series, and hopefully they can be good, you know. And this is going to be a good one. I'm very interested to see what the A's can do after this. And this is A's Weekly with MJ Hernandez. Thank you guys for listening, and have a great day.